Greetings, cyberdogs and citizens of the internet. This is RENDOG coming at you from just outside SILKWORM Gang Fort in this Let's Play Minecraft Survival series. In the previous episode, we got back from an epic pillaging adventure where we managed to strip an abandoned mineshaft bare and come back with all the sweet ass loots and materials that we need to make that awesome fort that you see behind me. So sit back and relax, my cyber diggity dogs. It is time to play some Minecraft Survival and it is going to be sweet. I've spent the last 20 minutes or so harvesting the oakwood grove, and we now have a butt ton of oakwood blocks, as well as all of the plankage and all of the fences that we gathered from the abandoned mineshaft in the previous episode. We are now ready to begin actual crafting of the SILKWORM Gang Fort. And as you guys can see, I have now added fences all the way around the spiral staircase that goes up to the fort, and I've added torches at each corner of each floor, and I think it looks absolutely awesome. And the first thing that I want to do in today's episode is try and get a curtain of vinage hanging down in front of these fences, because I just want to see what that looks like. I think that's probably going to look pretty freaking sweet. We can already see one little curtain of vinage over there, and yeah, I can confirm that that does look freaking awesome. So I think that's going to be the first thing that we do today, guys. And then after that, we are going to start working on a design for the roof of the rooms of SILKWORM Gang Island Fort. And this roof design, I'm actually going to take inspiration from my favorite Minecrafter on YouTube, and that is none other than Etho. And I absolutely love the roof design that he uses in his cave in his Minecraft Survival series. So I'm going to be using that design because, to be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to be able to come up with a better design than that for the SILKWORM Gang Island Fort. But guys, in more good news, the grass has actually made its way up our grass staircase. Finally! Damn son, that took a long ass time. But the grass is now up here and is slowly spreading itself across the first floor of the SILKWORM Gang Fort. And once all of this grass is spread, and once we fill in all of this area with dirt, we will be able to work on the lobby area of the fort, and that is going to be epic. So I am so freaking happy that this actually worked in the end. We can now take down this janky ass staircase, man. Look at it, it's freaking butt ugly. And we can get rid of that staircase, we can close this up, we can add a roof to the lobby, and you know, that's going to make this fort really freaking sweet. So I'm really happy about that, man. Really good news over there. And even better news, we have a chest full of goodies, man. We've got a whole bunch of oakwood planks, a whole bunch of fences, less fences now that I've completed the spiral staircase, but we still have a butt ton of fences up in here, and we have a butt ton of leaves and a butt ton of vinage, and that means that we have I think we probably have everything we need to create at least 2 or 3 floors of the SILKWORM Gang Fort. And today I want to work on this room over here. I'm going to work on the roof of this room and the floor, and I want to try and complete this room today. I'm thinking that maybe I want to make this room my bedroom, because this room has a really sweet view in this direction over this peninsula over here, and then in this direction over here we have an awesome ass view of this bay area over here. So I really like the views from this room. So I think maybe we'll make this room our bedroom, but we'll see how it turns out. I mean, we might want to make the bedroom on the top there, but I think this is a pretty sweet place for my bedroom. And then we can finally move up all of our jazz from that hole that we're currently living in into the fort at last, man. Damn son, we are basically living like a mole here on SILKWORM Gang Island, and it is time to change that, man. It is time to upgrade to living in a treehouse, man, because that is what I am talking about. And that's why we're here after all. Now guys, I mentioned earlier in this video that I am going to be making a roof inspired by none other than Etho from the channel Etho's Lab. Now, I have already made another contraption that is an Etho design, and that is of course the piston doorway into the Nether Portal Temple, and that is an Etho design, and you know, I was really inspired by his piston door design, and that's why I used that for the Nether Portal Temple. And equally so, I am inspired by Etho's roof design that he uses in his caves. in his Minecraft survival series. So Etho, if by some miracle you are watching this freaking video, and I doubt you are, but if you are, I am dedicating the roofs of SILKWORM Gang Island to you, and I just want to thank you for all the amazing inspiration that you have given me for Minecraft. You are one of the reasons that I started playing Minecraft on YouTube, and man, you know, you are freaking awesome. You're one of the smartest Minecrafters on YouTube, man. That is for shizzle, and I freaking love watching your videos, man. So this design is dedicated to my favorite Minecrafter, Etho. So the way that the design actually works is the top of the roof is going to be made out of leaves, and then the leaves are going to have a border of wooden stairs, and that's pretty much as close to Etho's design as I can get. And to be honest with you, I really don't think that I could come up with a better design than that. You know, it's such a really nice natural look, and that's exactly what we're going for in the fort over here. So I think that's going to be an absolutely perfect design to do. And what we're going to have to do though, guys, is make some stairs. And this was a question that I asked you guys in the previous video. What do you guys think about us being allowed to make stairs to use in SILKWORM Gang Fort? And the vast majority of you guys said, well, considering that you found the plankage yourself in the abandoned mineshaft, you should be allowed to make stairs. And I think I think I'm going to go with that, guys, because if we don't make stairs, we're literally only going to be able to use a very small amount of blocks, including wooden blocks, leaf blocks, dirt blocks, and cobblestone blocks probably. And you know, that sort of stunts our creativity quite a lot. So I think that we should be allowed to use stairs. I don't think we should be allowed to use anything else. I think stairs are probably going to be the maximum that I'm going to allow myself to craft. And I think stairs are also going to be important because even though these vine stairs are really awesome, they actually mess with the pathing quite badly. As you can see, get down, come on, get down there. There we go. Now that the fences are up around the spiral staircase, the vineage actually messes with the pathing, and it's actually quite difficult to get up here. So I'm thinking that maybe we should be replacing these vines with stairs, and that'll be another really good use for our stairs. Even though these vine stairs are awesome, they're just not working the way that I want them to. So I think that's what we're going to do. And I think the first thing we're going to do today, guys, is the first thing that we were going to do is plant some vineage. So let's do that before I forget. And what I want to do is plant the vineage over here so that it's going to hang down and grow down in front of the wooden fences over here. And I think that the only way we're going to be able to do this is by placing some blocks on the other side of the fence. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's actually perfect. And then this vine is already growing down, so that's cool. Let's just place these leaf blocks like this. Okay, and then we can hang the vines like this on the leaves, and they should grow down in front of these fences, and then hopefully by the end of this episode or the end of the next episode, these vines will be all the way down to the ground, and we'll be able to have a look at what this looks like. I don't know if we could actually break these blocks afterwards, because vines, let go of me, man. Because the vines are attaching themselves to the blocks above them, so we might be able to break these blocks once the vines have grown, but I'm not sure. And I'm pretty sure I just spotted a creeper down there, man. Hopefully he doesn't learn how to climb a spiral staircase, and hopefully the vine pathing issue will block him, and he'll noob out somewhere up the spiral staircase. But if he starts coming up here, we're going to be in trouble. But guys, let's get working on the roof design for today, and I'm quickly going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, and then I'm going to tell you guys a sweet ass story. Because I woke up this morning and I remembered something that I wanted to share with you guys. So that's what I'm going to do today, guys, while we're working on the Etho roof here in the SILKWORM Gang Fort. So basically, the way that this roof is going to look is we're going to have stairs like this, right? And then we're going to have leaves fill up the center of the roof. So the stairs are going to be like the skirting of the roof, and then the leaves will be the actual roof. And I think what we'll do is add a layer of plankage above the leaves. Even though this is pretty sweet that we can see the moon through these leaves and stuff, I don't know, man. I want my fort to be waterproof. I want my room to be waterproof. You know what I mean? And if we've got an open leaf roof like this, the rain is going to come straight through those leaves, straight onto my face when I'm trying to sleep, man. And that is not sweet. I don't know how many of you guys have tried to sleep in rain, but I have, and let me tell you, it's not pleasant. I mean, I'm a big fan of rain, don't get me wrong. I freaking love a good thunderstorm, but rain on your face and all over your jazz when you're trying to sleep, not cool. So I think what we're going to do is waterproof. What the jazz is going on here, man? Why won't this corner take? Come on, dude. Take. No, man. Make a corner. Stem, make a corner. Okay, there we go. Sweet. So yes, I think we're going to make the roof waterproof. And that is basically the design, the Etho design like that, right? Using stairs like this or slabbage, and then using leaves as the roof of the room. And I think that this is such an awesome natural look. And I honestly don't think that I could make a better design than this for the fort. So yeah, I'm happy to use this design. And I think what I'm going to do also is put a layer of stairs around the circumference of the skirting of the rooms. And that really makes, I think, a really sweet natural window. Because of the stairs, you know, they make this sort of V-shaped concave thing going on up in here. And it frames the window really nicely, I think. I think that looks awesome. It looks much better than that, that's for shizzle. Plus, we're able to sort of climb up here and have a look over the edge. Whereas over here, we can only see the sky and we can't actually see the sweet ass views. So I think that, yeah, I think this is the design we're going to go for, guys. And what do you guys think about this design, man? I'd love to get your feedback in the comment section below. I think that this is awesome. I think this looks sweet. And this is the design that I want to go with. And let's put down a skirting of stairs all the way around the floor of this room so we can get a nice good feel about the actual size of the room. You know, if I'm going to make this my bedroom, I do want it to be quite big. It doesn't have to be massive, you know, I'm not a greedy dude, but I definitely want space for like a bookshelf where I keep all of my battle plans to attack the space gang, and I want my bed and a chest where I keep all my sweet ass gear. So I think there'll be enough space in here for that, right? I think we could probably put our bed over here, put a chest over here, put like a bookshelf over here maybe. Yeah, I like that. Sweet. Sweet! Oh man, my bedroom is so epic. Oh, awesome. Well, let's finish off this roof, and then that'll give us a much better idea of what it's going to look like and if this design is going to suit us. I'm pretty sure it is, though. It's already looking freaking sweet. And while I'm working on this roof, guys, I'm going to tell you a story. Something that... Well, it's a story that came out of a question that one of you cyberdogs asked me a few series ago. I think maybe you asked me this question in series 1 of this Let's Play series. Man, it's a question that I often think about because it's a really interesting question. And the question is, what was the first thing that you crafted in real life? What was the first thing that you crafted in real life? And you know, I've been thinking about that question a lot, because I think all of us have crafted a lot of stuff in our lives. You know, like model airplanes, model cars. I actually had a subject at school called Design and Technology, and we did a lot of crafting in that. In fact, the only purpose of that class was to make sweet-ass jazz using rudimentary tools like, you know, we had screwdrivers and we had access to a whole bunch of materials, and we had batteries and wires and stuff like that. So we could make sort of rudimentary machines and things like that. And it was probably my favorite class at school ever, man. I freaking loved that class so much. One of my favorite things that I ever made was an automatic plant watering machine that used gravity to water plants for a month. And man, that was a sweet ass machine that I made, man. I'll never forget that machine. But that wasn't the machine that I want to tell you guys about. The machine that I want to tell you guys about is something that I crafted with the intention to steal all of my friends' marbles at school. In my design and technology class, we were allowed to let's have a we've missed a line over here. We were allowed to craft our own things after we had finished our school project. So, you know, we would get a project from the teacher, like build build a potato gun, I think was one of the projects I remember. Or build a potato battery. That was another one. I'm sure tons of you guys have made potato batteries. So it's basically feed the beast real life. But if you finished your school project, you were actually allowed to craft your own thing, so you could just do what you wanted. And this is looking really awesome, by the way, guys. Man, check at that. That's looking sweet. I think what we need to do is add another layer of leaves around the entire circumference of the room, though, because it's kind of looking. I don't know. It looks kind of weird when you look at the corners of these blocks over here. So anyway, most of my time spent in design and technology was finishing off my projects as fast as possible so that I could make my own stuff. And what I used to make the most was miniature surfboards. I used to take pieces of, thin pieces of wood and flat pieces of wood, and then I used to use sandpaper to grind these little pieces of wood into surfboards. And man, I actually got quite good at that, man. I used to be able to make the surfboard have like a really awesome curve to it, and I used to paint like decals onto it. And basically, I used to give these surfboards to girls at social events, thinking that maybe a girl would think I was so freaking awesome because I could make a surfboard out of a piece of wood. But I'm sad to admit, guys, that I actually never even got a kiss for any surfboard that I gave to any girl, man. That is some sad jazz. And man, I worked my butt off on those surfboards. I used to work on them during class, also during maths class and stuff. I used to sand down my surfboards underneath my desk. Yeah. And my goal was always to get a kiss, but it never happened. Oh well. But another one of the projects that I made, guys, was what I mentioned earlier. And it was a machine that was inspired by a program that I saw on TV about gambling. Now, when I was at school, marbles were serious business, man. Marbles were like the biggest thing to happen in my school. It was like the biggest craze ever, right? And the craze would basically happen once a year, and parents would buy their kids marbles, and we would all of us in the school, everybody, it didn't matter the age of you, or it didn't matter who you were, everybody played with marbles, everybody had marbles. And it used to take up such a huge amount of our time during break and during class that eventually every year the craze would get banned by the teachers, because we would literally just get obsessed by marbles, and kids would start fighting over them, and it would just start getting crazy. In fact, the story that I'm telling you guys today is basically the catalyst that started the gang war between my SILKWORM gang and Gareth the Butthole's space gang. It was one of the biggest fights that Gareth and I ever had at school, and it was one of the things that really made me hate his butthole. And when I started the SILKWORM gang, this event actually made me so angry and so against Gareth that it was one of the catalysts that basically ignited the great gang war that happened between us. And we had a ton of epic battles, which I'll tell you guys about one day. But guys, I watched this program about gambling and about slot machines, and I got inspired by that program because I suddenly realized that I could probably make a machine that was like a marble slot machine that would be able to win myself a butt ton of marbles from my friends. And as we all know, casinos are 100% rigged, right? Casinos are set up so that you always lose and that the house always wins. And slot machines are no different. And this concept was foreign to me because I was probably only 11 years old. But as soon as I saw this program about how casinos are rigged and how slot machines always let the house win, as soon as I realized this concept, I suddenly realized that I myself could probably make something similar to steal all of my friends' marbles. So I basically started working on a marble slot machine. And the way that the slot machine worked was it was a big box, like a giant ass box. And in the center of the box was a cardboard bowl, right? And at the very center of that bowl was a big hole that could take both big marbles and small marbles. Now, I don't know if you guys still play marbles at school. I'm not sure if maybe marbles aren't cool anymore. But back in my day, marbles were the bee's knees, man. They were like the top craze at school. I think you guys play with like Pokemon now and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and other stuff like that. But for me, marbles were the bomb shizzle. And we used to have two different types of marbles. We had small marbles and really, really big ass marbles that we called guns. And guns were worth about, if I remember correctly, worth about 5 to 8 small marbles, depending on the size of the gun, how beautiful it was, etc. And my contraption was designed in such a way that I would win all guns, so that people who used my contraption would never win guns, but would always win small marbles. So the contraption was designed in such a way to make my customers feel like they were winning when actually they were losing. And the way that it worked, right, was this bowl inside of this box had one big hole in the center of it that both small marbles and guns could fit in. And then around the bowl, in a spiral sort of design, there were small holes that small marbles could fit into. And the way that the game worked was you would throw a marble into the machine and it would spiral around the bowl. And if it fell into one of the small holes around the circumference, I would double your marble. So I would give you, your marble would come out of like a little winning chute, and then I would give you back your marble and give you another marble, right? And that was basically how it worked. Now, if you put a gun into my machine, you wouldn't win at all, because I didn't add any holes for guns around the circumference of the bowl. So the only hole that a gun could fall into was the hole in the middle of the bowl, and that hole in the middle of the bowl were the marbles that I won. So if you put a marble into my machine and it went all the way around the bowl, missed all of the holes, it would eventually go into the bottom of the bowl and fall through that hole, which would become my winnings, and I would keep the marble that you gambled. So this bowl was basically rigged, and because it was in the center of the box and hidden from view, the people who actually played the game never actually noticed that there weren't no winning holes for guns, because they were dropping their marbles into a chute at the top of the box that would direct the marble into the spiral of the bowl. And of course, they were none the wiser. And for some reason, they believed me when I told them that they would be able to win with guns. I mean, basically what I would say to the kids was, look how many small marbles you're winning. Why don't you risk one of your big marbles? Why don't you risk one of your guns? Because you're obviously on a winning streak here. You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you risk a gun and see if you can win? And because they had been winning small marbles and winning a lot of small marbles, most of my customers would throw in 1 or 2 guns to try and test their luck. And of course they would lose, and I would keep the guns. And of course, I was happy to lose the small marbles, because I could then trade the guns that I was winning from my customers for more small marbles than I was losing, if you know what I'm saying. So that was basically the scam. And I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of that scam, man. It was a pretty sweet scam, and I actually made a butt ton of marbles out of that. A butt ton of guns, which I then traded for marbles. And so I had a massive collection of marbles after a few weeks. Even though I was, cheating, essentially, I think that I deserved all of those marbles for using my freaking brain to come up with, an ingenious method to get all the marbles from my friends. That's how I justified it to myself anyway. So after a couple of weeks and after quite a lot of winning, everybody knew about my machine. Everybody knew that, you could win a lot of small marbles in my machine, and people started to realize that you couldn't win any big marbles in my machine because no one was winning big marbles, right? And I guess this piqued Gareth's suspicions. And, he was a pretty smart guy. He was the top of the maths class in my class, and he was always really, really smart, and probably smarter than me, actually. Gareth, you butthole! And he started to think that maybe I was cheating. And he came to me at lunch one day, and he was like, dude, I want to gamble, and I want to gamble with guns. And I was like, dude, go for it, man. Stick as many guns as you want in there. You never know. You might be a winner. And Gareth started putting guns in there, and I think he put maybe like 5 or 6 in there, and then he got really, really angry that he had lost all of his guns, and he started to accuse me of cheating. And he was saying like, this is obviously rigged. There's no ways that anybody can win. You're a cheat. I want my guns back. And we got into a massive ass fight. you know, like a shouting fight, man, like a proper full-on shouting fight. And basically what happened is he punched straight through the top of my marble slot machine, straight through that cardboard bowl, and straight into the container in the center of my machine that was collecting all of my winnings. And there he saw a butt ton of guns, or he saw all of his guns, and he picked up that bowl and he saw that there were no winning holes for guns. And he was freaking angry, man. And basically he went straight to the teachers, told them all about it, and I got into a ridiculous amount of trouble. I had to give all of the marbles back that I'd won from people. I had to give all of the guns back to freaking Gareth. But I guess in that situation, Gareth was in the right and I was the butthole. And I learned my lesson after that, man. I never try to con my friends again. You know, a lot of my friends were really angry with me, really upset with me. They couldn't understand why I was cheating them and taking all of their marbles. And actually, come to think about it, I feel kind of bad now. So if any of you guys out there who are watching this went to my school and were conned by my marble slot machine, I just want to apologize right now, man. I'm really sorry for conning you and taking your marbles, but I gotta say that was the first major thing that I crafted in my life, and I was pretty proud of it, man. It was a clever ass design. You know, it had holes for winnings and a hole that I would take all of the guns, and man, I thought that was pretty ingenious. But anyway, guys, that was the first thing that I crafted that I was proud of that I can remember. So I hope that answers your question. Finally, Cyberdog, who asked that. But guys, we've been working our butthole off on the roof design for the second floor room over here in the fort. And you know what, guys? That is looking absolutely pimp McDaddy, man. I'm loving this. Have a look at this, man. Etho, this design that you've come up with is just so fantastic. I love how the stairs look with the leaf roof, and I think the leaf roof is just an absolute perfect addition to the SILKWORM Gang fort and exactly what this place needed. So I'm really happy with this design. I think I'm going to stick with this design. No, dude, come on, make the corner. Oh, here we go. We've got to get rid of this corner and this corner. And then we can finish it off. OCD averted. There we go. Awesome. Well, that is looking absolutely epic, guys. I gotta say, man, I'm loving this design. And man, I can't wait to finish SILKWORM Gang Island Fort now. I'm gonna do this exact same design for the lobby area over here once I've filled it in with dirt and the grass is fully grown. Then we'll plant some flowers and ferns and grass and all that sort of jazz. And we'll start working on the room up there, and we'll start working on the railway station that's going to sit at the top of that tree. And I think what we're probably going to have to do also is start working on making the top of this room look more like a tree. So we have to make it sort of look you know, like a dome. And then we have to work on the underside of the room also. So, you know, underneath this floor, we also need to make it look like a dome so that it from a very far distance, it kind of looks like a tree and doesn't just look like a square room, you know, stapled to the side of a tree. So we still got a butt ton of work here in the fort, guys, but that is awesome. I've absolutely loved this episode. But unfortunately, Cyberdogs, we have run out of time for this episode, but I really hope you have enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed telling you the story about my marble slot machine, and I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section below about any awesome ass contraptions that you guys may have crafted in real life. Hit me up in the comment section, guys. I really love reading your guys' stories. And guys, if you have enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. You need to smack that like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button so that you can keep track with this series and all the other series on my channel. And guys, we have still got a butt ton of work to do around here, and that's what we're going to be doing in the next few episodes, so you don't want to miss it. Hit the subscribe button before something horrible goes up your butthole. Guys, this has been RENDOG playing Minecraft Survival, and we will see you in the next video. Goodbye, my friends.